1, 2, 3, 4. Palapalooza, Palapalooza. We're talking to you. I'm Palapalooza. Word. San Diego, California. Thanks for tuning in to Palapalooza. I'm your host, Troy Cook. This week we chat with Sonny Sandoval, the lead singer of the San Diego-based rock band P.O.D. P.O.D's received 3 Grammy Award nominations. Their album, The Fundamental Elements of Southtown, was certified platinum, and their 2001 release, Satellite, went triple platinum. We chat about their time on S.N.L, collaborations with Santana, Katy Perry, and much more. Enjoy. Sonny, how you doing, my friend?
What's up, buddy? Let me switch you on my headphones.
Sure.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's way better.
Oh, nice.
Yes, sir. Thanks for your time. We've been texting back and forth, so I understand that you're Mr. Sandoval at the household these days, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
I can relate, brother. Yeah. How many kids do you have?
I have 3. My oldest, she's actually just wrapped up her second year over here at State. And so my other 2, 10th and 7th grade. So
wow,
they're still wrapping up all their online stuff, So
okay.
I don't know how much I can offer them, but
My daughter's in 2nd grade, so
yeah,
I got the intelligence for that, but I don't know about 10th grade, brother.
Right, bro. That's when I was good. I homeschooled my youngest all the way up until. Let's see, kindergarten 1, 2, 3, 4. I think almost 5th grade, just so he can go on the road with me.
Wow.
And so literally, dude, we were super busy, and he basically the back of the bus, and every green room I just turned it into a classroom. And yeah, I can handle that one real easy. But then now it starts stepping up a little bit. I'm like, dude, I got to get a recap myself.
Wow, that's crazy, dude. So yeah. He was all the way through about 10 years old on the road with P.O.D.
Yeah, was it 10? Yeah, I'd say probably up to about maybe 9.
Yeah.
So, dude, I mean, I had to. Like, we just got started again. We took a little break, and then I was like, dude, the only way, I just need family, man.
Right. What an incredible experience for him and you as a dad. That must have been cool.
Oh, for sure, bro. It was, good times for sure.
Yeah, good memories. Last 3 months, man, stay-at-home orders here in San Diego has not only hit the music community pretty hard, but obviously parents and kids and basically everyone's been affected by this. How is P.O.D. doing, man? Are you guys staying busy?
I mean, we're trying to. I mean, obviously we're busy in personal stuff, and I've been actually recording a grip of just some solo stuff. It actually kind of kicked me in the butt to do some things, since I had the time. I was like, I can't just sit around. So got to track a bunch of stuff, and I'm really excited about that. Cause everybody knows that I is wanted, and they'll make you disappear like nothing ever happened. And everybody's scared to speak, but they're still asking. Cause Sonny dread me the sleeping lion. Just trying to test the waters on what's happening. It's kind of been this crazy waiting game. So we're really at the mercy of what's going on in our community and our countries right now. So, but we're planning for 21. If tours and stuff get pushed back, then we're already kind of trying to jump on the game. Because we're working musicians, so that's where we make our money is off touring. And if we can't tour, then we're going to starve.
Yeah, no, I sympathize with musicians like you. I DJ for a living, so I can relate. You're a man that likes to collaborate. You hooked up with our good friends Nights Like Thieves and Scott Zikla recently, dude. That's a banger song. Magic Eyes off their new EP, The Forgotten.
No, that was all them. It had nothing to do with me.
So why don't you talk about that briefly? I think you and Mario were in touch, and then obviously you and I share mutual friends with Scott Zikla.
Yeah.
You basically just recorded that at home and sent them the track. Came out really well.
That's it, man. Like I said, I'm just working on some of my own stuff. Scott had hit me up, and And again, it's always kind of just like this email game or text game going back and forth. And
Totally.
I had committed to some other things, and I heard the track, and I was like, dude, I really like these guys. You know what I mean? But I didn't want to just like not do something. I don't know. I just didn't want it to be like I didn't care about it. You know what I mean? But I had already committed to some other stuff, and then I was telling him like, dude, don't wait on me, bro. Like I don't want to do that to you. Like I wish I could just do it right now, but I just don't even have time to think about it. But I was like, but if you want, like if you already know what you kind of want me to do, just let me know. I'm used to kind of going in and writing my part, you know. But I was like, but dude, if you just need like me to jump on and kind of maybe the backup, some harmonies, whatever, let me know. And they're like, actually, just kind of the bridge, maybe just say this. And I was like, dude, that's easy for me, dude, no problem, you know. So
Yeah.
really, just I have a little setup here and really just a few takes, and then send over. And I said, dude, I hope this is good enough. And like, dude, well, this is awesome.
It came out really good, man. You dropped a few bars there in the bridge, and Mario has been mixing and mastering it, and it came out really well.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, we have a lot of locals that listen, man. I was wondering maybe if you could take us back to the more local days, the early days of P.O.D. and, venues you'd play around town and maybe bands that you'd team up with. You wanna sort of reminisce about those days?
For sure, man. We're the old guys now, you know what I mean? So we've been around. I think someone just sent me a flyer, and it was like a Soma. I don't know if it was a New Year's gig, like in
I saw that.
early 90s. Someone had like Sprung Monkey, Blink and Pennywise, and
It's like $5, dude, right?
yeah, Ghoul Spoon. Remember all the old school San Diego bands, and but yeah, dude, we would play wherever they'd let us play, man. From was it Dream Street back then? There's
dude, OB, yeah. Maybe even Soul Kitchen in El Cajon,
Soul
possibly.
Kitchen, yeah. What was was it Just Java, or was something where all the straight edge bands would play?
Yeah, Canes maybe, right? You probably hit up Canes.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh, Canes before they changed it up to a nice little restaurant. Yeah, we've played everywhere from the cool venues in San Diego to backyard parties to abandoned houses in Chula Vista. You know what I mean? But I think one of the coolest things for us is we were just trying to do what we do, or with music we like, and we were into all the hardcore stuff and the punk stuff, but obviously reggae and hip hop, and it was really more influenced by the band House of Suffering, watching them kind of switch up their straight edge sound and music, and then when they had got Daryl to kind of do this rapping thing. I think we played a show with them at some straight edge party, and they loved us, and we ended up sharing like a little studio together, and they helped us out, way back then. And so we got some ties, man, for sure.
Yeah, you guys cross the genres. Honestly, I was thinking about this better than anyone I know, man, with hip hop and rock. You guys you did it right, and it works with your sound. And I think that is a big factor in why you guys, are multi-platinum, multiple Grammy nominations.
Yeah.
I mean, a huge amount of success for P.O.D. You formed in 1992, and I think your mainstream success came around 2000, right? When you were certified platinum, somewhere around there?
Yeah. We had dropped a record, I think it was in 99, and then it went platinum. And so 2000 was kind of when, we just got super busy, and then, a little exposure here, and, from TV to radio. And then by the time we dropped the next record, it was just kind of moving.
Did you always have as a goal to achieve that sort of success? Or when you first started with P.O.D., was it more of a hobby sort of situation?
No, we were all working as kids. It was definitely more just a local thing. And then I think one summer, and I want to say 94, where we all, took like 3 weeks off of vacation for work and stuff. And we had these friends of ours were in a band called The Blamed, and they were working their way to this festival out in like Bushnell, Illinois. And then they said, do you guys want to come out? And they had a couple shows on the way, and we just packed everything up in, a little broken down little van and truck, and we went and did it. You know what I mean?
You hustled it for a while. It's crazy with bands like P.O.D. You seem like almost overnight success because you blow up, on the mainstream, radio and everything. There's so much mainstream success, but you guys really did hustle it for about, 8 years there, huh?
Totally, man. We did everything independently. And once we kind of just thought that this is, well, actually by just doing those tours, after a couple of years, I think it was by the time 96 came around, it was like we were kind of building a buzz, in these little towns and stuff we would go through from West Coast to East Coast, that we really had the opportunity to do this beyond just, a few weeks in the summer, to tour. And it was like a big decision we had to make. And so we all quit our jobs. And I think Trey, our bass player, his job actually really paid some good money. And so it was a big step for all of us to really kind of get out of our comfort zone and say, if we really think that this is happening for us, then we got to give it a shot, And so then we just started touring on our own forever. And I think by the time, like you said, 7-8 years came by, we're like, gee, we're kind of doing this. Is there a chance to do it in any other level? And that's when we kind of started seeking out maybe label opportunities, bigger label opportunities, instead of doing stuff just independently. And that's, we put our feelers out and we started doing showcases, got some people that really believed in us to kind of make those phone calls. And little by little, man, we just kept working it and we got our shot.
Right on. That's just cool to hear, dude, as a local, and I'm sure some other local musicians will like to hear that and, be inspired by that for sure.
Yeah. But now it's kind of gone back a little bit full circle where it's really, you can do it on your own. I think we did as much as we could on our own, with the means that we had in whatever early 90s, mid 90s. But now it's kind of like, dude, you don't want these labels, you know what I mean? You don't want these bigger labels that are just going to kind of, before was, but they were just kind of served more as a bank. That's kind of how we looked at it. And unfortunately, you realize that, as of any bank, you end up being the one that owes. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter how many records you sell. So now,
right.
If you're on it and, with the social media and now the means to record in our own homes is, you can just do it on your own and really kind of keep the business to yourself.
Sure. You dropped Circles in 2018. What label was that under?
We jumped on a label called Mascot.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. We've been working with them and got touch back through international touring again with them, at least as far as Europe and stuff goes. But again, man, we've been through, it's such a long story, but we've been through such the ringer with, where with labels and stuff that we kind of made the decision like that we weren't really going to be tied down by anybody. And so we really kind of pick and choose who we want to work with. And again, there's the ups and downs, you know what I mean? There's a lot more, you go with the bigger labels and you sell your soul a little bit,
right.
There is more exposure, there is other opportunities, or, I think for us, we just made the decision after doing it for so long was just peace of mind.
Yeah.
And just really kind of being a band instead of just a business to these guys and really doing it because we love it. It's more like, okay, well, you got to kind of count your costs and say, hey, well, at least we're doing it because we love it and we can kind of set our own pace rather than just being a part of this formula, and selling your soul to that. So that's a decision we made. Some people still do it and, they still see big success, but that's at some point in your career, you make the decision to say, hey, man, maybe this is worth it to do it this way.
That's awesome, man. I can't imagine the amount that you've learned in the past 20 years about the music industry.
Oh, bro, so much, but it's always just been a learning process. And now if you can go back and kind of apply it, who knows how different things would be.
Right. No, totally. We talked about collaborations, man. You did a collaboration with Katy Perry before she got huge. You want to talk about that? That was on your track, Goodbye for Now.
Yeah. We were actually finishing up a record. We had started a record with different producer, and then for some reason we just needed some extra help. And then again, here's the perks of being on a big label on Atlantic Records. They wanted to see the album finish, so obviously they pushed, and we worked with a producer named Glenn Ballard. And Glenn Ballard is, he had like Grammys just spilling off his tables when we went to his studio, and but he's worked from from Michael Jackson to Van Halen to just everybody. He's just that industry guy, right?
Right.
And so here we were again with the awesome opportunity to work with a big shot like this guy, and we were re-recording all our songs with him, and then actually he found Alanis Morissette as well, and so at the time he was working with Katy Perry, who was nobody at the time, and we did the song, and I was like, dude, I think we need some like female vocals on this track, but just really set it off, and he was like, I got the girl, let me invite her over for dinner and hang out, and she was like, dude, she was super young, just a scrub, dude.
Right.
She was more tomboy and more like punk rock back then. And I think my cousin has some footage of her just like picking her nose and just hanging out. She would hang out at the studio, and she was rad. She ended up just kind of kicking with us all the time, and because she was his kind of this protege, he was grooming her to just have this experience. And so she had nothing to do, and she'd hang around, and she did her part. And then we got to go and perform it, I think, on Jay Leno and a couple other TV shows. And before you know it, dude, just because she's in that Hollywood life, she went on to be Katy Perry.
That's amazing. That's a great story. She's got the look, obviously songwriting. Yeah, that's a great story. I wanted to bring that up real quickly. And then also we got to shout out with collaborations, Carlos Santana, man. Yeah. I was watching video of that the other day. Yeah. And our friend Scott, I was actually kind of telling me about that. Do you want to talk about that collaboration and how that was to share the stage with Carlos Santana?
Oh, I mean, obviously, one of the dreams come true. You know what I mean? I think at that point, we had some success and some albums sold, and he had just come off of that huge collab album. I think it was Supernatural. That was like, oh no, it's probably like
oh yeah, with like Smooth, right? Rob Thomas, I think.
Yeah. I think it was like 100 million records or something. But he went on to do the second one, and so again, he was kind of, he collaborated with the artists of that time that were kind of, on the charts or just whatever in the limelight. And then we had already met him before. Luckily, at a festival in Europe, and we kind of connected with the San Diego TJ, right. connection here. Right. And so I think we were always kind of on his radar at that point, and then we got hit up to do a song, and of course we took the opportunity to do it, and it was, like I said, a dream come true.
This is America. P.O.D. and Santana live in La Casa.
We mentioned Grammy nominations, bro. Can you talk about the first Grammy nomination and how you heard about that and what that meant to you, like that experience?
I mean, it was mind-blowing, obviously, but that's when you kind of start learning the politics of even the game, you know what I mean? It's like, here we are, I think we were like in some metal category, we're like, we never really consider ourselves metal band, and it was an album track that was like probably one of our heaviest, and it was punky, but it was heavier, and it was like, wow, that's interesting that here we are, we're just this band coming up, and I mean, obviously, you sit there and you take it, dude, how grateful I am, I'm appreciative. But then you also kind of see the politics that work behind it. You know what I mean? Not saying that we're undeserving, whatever, but there's a lot of politics going on in that. And I think we had gotten all dressed up with the wives. Everything was this big old shindig. We were ready to have fun. And then I think we got the call on the way over of who was going to win it.
Oh, really?
I think we had just entered the building and we had seats and everything. And we're just like, well, that's cool. Like, we don't need to go anymore. You know what I mean? I think we were the only guys in like khakis and t-shirts. You know what I mean? And I think we just went straight over to like the after party, bro, and just kind of hung out. And
nice.
Yeah, it was, again, I mean, we've played the game as much as we can, but at some point, I mean, again, we've always just kind of been that San Diego underground kind of hardcore punk band. It was just like, I mean, we're not as punky sounding as most bands, but we're definitely anti a lot of things, you know what I mean? It was like, all right, we're grateful, and we'll just leave it at that.
Right on, man. It's interesting how different levels of success are sort of different than you imagine. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, for sure, dude.
Like as a local, a lot of locals listening, I think they're striving for a Grammy ultimately, but from what I'm hearing from you, it wasn't maybe the ultimate experience when you got there.
I mean, it's again, I don't want to make it seem that way or crush anybody's like goals and dreams, because it's awesome and it'll always be awesome.
Right.
But again, like only looking back hindsight, you're just like, how much stuff goes on in this industry that is, again, there's so much manipulation, and there's so much, even now more so with the way things have changed with management and companies, and now people aren't making money off their records. So there's other ways to get your hustle and to use bands. And, it's not, at least we were at the kind of the edge of like, hey, dude, the music still matters.
Yeah.
To now, and you took pride in that because like, it's my music. I love doing this, and I'm grateful for any type of recognition. Okay. And nowadays, it's more like there's more business and who and more and more just a lot of more of this rather than damn, that's just a good song, or that's dude, that band is amazing live, or any of that stuff. That's all lasts now. You know what I mean? So you look at it, and you're like, well, this kind of sucks.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like. And so then you find yourself being in that old school category of the guys are just like, well, dude, back in my day, you know what I mean? Or albums. And when we recorded, we're now in that area, right, where you talk to a kid now who can record out of his bathroom.
Yeah.
He doesn't even have to have any band members, and then, put out a record. And it's like, dude, his album can fly to the top of the charts. And you're like, dude, that guy recorded his album out of his basement. And on one side, you think that's cool. But on the other side, you're kind of like, well, what is it? I don't know.
Right.
I don't know if it was really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. We talk about that a lot. It's interesting to get that perspective from someone like you. What are your thoughts on Spotify?
I mean, dude, I just want to get paid for it. That's all.
Right.
I mean, if that's the way people experience music these days, I mean, I get going with the times. I don't know what really changed. Like, so now a kid that was buying our record, was helping us pay our bills. Now he can go and stream it. And before, you can just download it for free, and there's still ways you can get it for free. But so they do the streaming, and then all these big corporates are getting the advertisement money, and they're making money, but they're not paying the artists.
Right.
I mean, that's it. For me, I do not get a check that comes to my house that says from Spotify or from YouTube or from any. I do not get that.
Wow.
And so, yeah. So that's my point. Is like we've been hustling forever, and we thought, dude, by the time we get to our age and almost 30 years deep in our career, man, we can really just pick and choose, you know what I mean, and be home more. And we worked our butts off before, and now it's like we're working even harder just to tour.
Right.
So that's the real side, unless you're like this band that again is bringing in thousands of people at a show every night, then, and you're not in that scene or that kind of corporate scene, you are a working class band, and that's exactly where P.O.D. is. And wow. It's insane because we could talk about these accolades, we could talk about these collabs and Grammys and stuff. So when people hear the name P.O.D., they're like, oh yeah, dude, P.O.D.'s huge. And it's like, dude, we're a working band.
Right.
Like that's, you don't know the behind the scenes stuff because we're not on that, these labels or we doing stuff in the corporate level. We are a hardworking, hustling band that is just working paycheck to paycheck. And we're grateful. We love doing it. And it's paying our bills at the moment. But now when times like these come in and they're saying, dude, you can't even tour till next year. It's like, oh, wow, dude.
Right.
I guess millions of records don't mean anything because I got, again, if we're not showing up for work, then we don't get paid. It's like, wow, this is crazy.
It is more about shows these days, playing shows, touring, and merch sales, obviously, right? Yeah, dude. We feel so it's full circle. We feel like we're that independent band again, just hustling T-shirts out of the back of our trailer. You know what I mean? Playing where they'll let us play. I mean, obviously we're lucky and blessed to have a following, but also we've become a corporate ourselves. We employ people, and so you play a lot of these shows. It's like going back into your business. We're a small business again. Crazy. A small business that might actually look bigger than it is, but we're a small business that's constantly tucking money back into our business. And so you have to sit there and say, dude, is our business building? Right. Is it building, or is it just? Are we just stoked to be playing music still and pay our bills? And you kind of have to wrestle with all that stuff and say, dude, I'll take what I can get. Or we also get to the place where we're like, dude, maybe it's time to move on, and do something different. We battle all this stuff. If I was this band and it was like, dude, we just have revenue checks and stuff coming in, you'd be like, oh, dude, music is just fun. But now you're like, dude, okay, it's still fun, and that's what keeps us going. But really, this is our business, and if our business is not doing well, then man, you got to do something else. And that's the sad truth about working bands. I swear I can hear it so clear. It's a tough business, I think is safe to say, right, bro? I mean, to summarize the past few minutes, you separate the art from the business, and you know, the art that you've created must be very fulfilling for you to hear those amazing songs that you've written and how they've inspired people out there.
Yeah, dude, that I've said this in every interview, and someone asked me, dude, it's the only, you know, almost 30 years later, dude, I've been out on the road, tired, my family's getting older, all the holidays, anniversaries, all the things miss, and it's worth it only because there's still people out there saying, dude, your music, that guy or that gal that really loves music, you know what I mean? When you can separate from just this kind of evil empire of the music industry and be like, wait a minute,
right?
Out of all those millions of people, that one person was listening, you know, and that's like, dude, it's undeniable, you know, and I literally, show after show, you know, I'm always, our band is very accessible, always available. I literally, I wait, you know, to talk to somebody, you know, I don't want to hear, dude, you guys rocked and, you know, you guys are amazing. It's show after show. There's, if not one person, to a handful of people, to a group of people that say, dude, your music changed my life.
Right on.
Dude, I was going to kill myself. And then this song came on the radio.
Wow.
You know, or dude, I'm a recovering heroin addict, and I quit cold turkey when I heard this song. You know, it's amazing stories like that you're like, wow. And then here you are trying to battle this evil empire. Like, dude, I'm over it. I'm done. I'm going to go work construction and get a real paycheck.
Don't do it, bro. Don't do it.
Or can I do something else that pays my bills? And then you're like, you see that face, dude, or that kid, and you're like, wow, dude, my band's pretty cool, man. We've been blessed to do something. And it was like, so you never want to take that for granted. And then I just convinced myself, dude, hang on. It could be over next year. It could be over in 5 years, 10 years, whatever. It could be over tomorrow. But I still have enough fuel in the tank because of what that kid said or that dude said or whatever, you know. And it's like, dude, all right, I'll keep rolling and see how long I can go.
Keep rolling, bro. You kidding me? You can have some sort of supplemental income, you know. I get that, but I think from what I know of you guys, I think you'll always do something with P.O.D, man, whether it be acoustic or, you know.
Yeah, I feel you. I hope so, man.
No, and you certainly put a positive message out there with songs like Alive and Youth of the Nation. So that's really cool to hear, brother. You played some amazing shows, man, like Ozfest. You opened for Kiss.
Yeah.
You played with Metallica. I mean, looking back on your amazing career, is there a show that really stands out?
Dude,
it's got to be so many.
There's so many on different levels. I mean, you can rock in front of the biggest festival with over 100,000 people and think, wow, what a rush. And then you can go play a freaking legendary rock club in the middle of nowhere where there's 800 kids or people packed into a brick room and be like, now that was the show. That exactly. You know, so the energy, dude, is always, again, man, it's just kind of like, it's an adrenaline rush. And you're like, dude, here we are, you know, at the older cats, and dude, we still can rock like this and have people go nuts. And like, man, this is the power of music. And it's just, again, every show is different, but we've definitely been lucky to play with some legends and, you know, meet legends and become friends with legends. And it's just like, you know, this little band from San Diego was able to do something.
Absolutely, man. In December, you guys did a fly-out gig to India, and it got canceled. Did you want to talk about that? There were some riots out there?
Yeah, we were so stoked because it was actually the first time, you know, a show was actually going through. And so we went, and I think we literally were in the air for like 48 hours. I think we were literally on the ground in India for 36. And we had gotten there, and there were, you know, just kind of like today, some riots and stuff going on for the causes out there. And so they couldn't assure that, actually, I think they shut down one of the smaller airports. We were trying to get into a smaller town and then drive into a countryside, and we couldn't. There were stuff going on. And so we waited to see what they can do. And finally they just told us it's not going to happen. So we turned around, got back on a plane, and then we had to post a video saying, dude, we were there. It wasn't our fault.
Right.
And if we can go back, we will. You know, it's just, but it was nuts. India was was definitely an eye-opening experience, and we've been all around the world, and India was bananas.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, definitely international success for P.O.D. Is there a country outside of the States that really has a special place in your heart? I hear a lot of bands say Australia, you know, guys like Unwritten Law that I've talked to, and even Sprung Monkey, your friends.
Yeah, those guys do well down there, and they've always shown those guys love, and they show us love too. So Australia, New Zealand is probably one of my favorite countries. But people-wise, like obviously like South America, there's just such a certain passion, you know what I mean? Like we just did a couple tours last year in Europe, and dude, killed it. Europe, they just killed it. It was so nice to be back. But I love Europe because they're not like this trendy kind of thing. Like when they decide they love a band, they love a band, you know, whereas in the States, it's kind of like, you know, you're just old news. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I love this band today, and like the next thing that pops up, oh, they're my hero band.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
So there's that fickle kind of thing, whereas Europe and other countries in South America, same thing. It's like, you know, you get to their country, guys will drive or they'll go 48 hours just to get to where you're playing, because they're like, dude, you guys haven't been here in 15 years. I wasn't going to miss this show. And they'll sell their, you know, they'll sell whatever. Just like, dude, they're dedicated. And the passion is what I wish we kind of had for music in our country now. We've gotten really spoiled.
Yeah, like oversaturated. Is that safe to say?
I think so. I mean, and that's part of the problem, is that everybody's hustling to make a paycheck, where even for us, we're like, bro, really? Like, we just played this town, this city, like, give it a break.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I get it. It's not by any fault of these bands, especially bands like us that are hustling. It's like, dude, you're just trying to make a paycheck. You know what I mean? You're working. That's what you do.
Right.
But there's a certain level where it's like, yeah, but people are getting spoiled there, especially now with, you can just watch the concert online or on your phone. There's no mystery. You know what I mean? There's no,
right.
You think about the bands back in the day, they were selling out stadiums and they didn't even have a gold record.
Right.
Because there was a mystery to, like, dude, I have to go to this show. Dude, I live for concerts. That's just concerts are the thing. Now, why leave the comfort of your own, you know, whatever, home system, theater system in your own home? You can watch a band in Dolby, whatever.
Yeah.
and not have to pay for parking and deal with, you know, everybody's claustrophobic these days, or germaphobes, whatever. Like, dude, I don't need to go to a concert anymore. It's that old school mentality that they're still concert goers, but now a lot of these new kids, like, I kind of like being quarantined and indoors, you know?
Yeah. Do you think people are going to be hungry to get back out there when shows do open back up? And when do you think that will be?
That's the hope, man. I mean, for me, even now in San Diego, like, they're letting us go to restaurants. It's like, dude, even that type of freedom now is like, dude, I'm on it.
Right.
I need to go.
It's like a new appreciation or something, huh?
Yeah. So that is my hope, that, you know, I think for, you know, old school cats like me and just a little bit younger, they're going to want that, whether it's movies, you know. So my hope is that all that stuff just really picks up. But, you know, maybe for these younger teenagers that are just so glued to their phones and computer screens, it might not be as exciting for them, you know. So I don't know. Those things just have to change. And again, I mean, I think we have dates that on our itinerary that we're supposed to hit in this year, but we haven't been given the green light yet. So now that's why you have to plan for 2021 before all the availabilities are taken up. So think about, we're talking about oversaturation. Think about next year, 2021. Like, right. You know, as far as the business goes, there's going to be a show every night of the week.
Right.
But that makes it even more tough. So like, here you are in Podunk, wherever, and you're like, dude, 5 of my bands are playing tonight. Where do I go?
Yeah.
You're just trying to get to doing shows. And then now when we get to doing shows, we'll kind of see the climate of where we're at there, you know? So like I said, that's why we're preparing for 21. It's actually our 20th anniversary of our satellite record.
Wow.
So there's really big talks and big hopes of even maybe teaming up with some other bands that have a 20-year album, and just trying to make a package and do something great. I think next year it really is going to come down to the package, and hopefully with the weight of that record, we can either do our own thing at a great level, or even jump on some bigger things and make the package even better.
There you go. Right on 20 years, man. 2021's the year, I guess, then, huh? I mean,
yeah, I hope so.
Let's just fast forward this, huh? Already?
Exactly, dude.
Crazy. You were featured on MTV's Punk'd with Ashton Kutcher, dude. You want to talk about that funny story?
Yeah, my cousin, the drummer, he was actually in on it, and I had no idea. And I think even at the time, like it was just kind of this crazy thing where I kind of knew, but then I'm like, well, why would they punk us? You know what I mean? I kind of thought that way. Like, why would they do this? This is nuts. Would they go to this extreme to do this to us? This makes no sense. And then as we did it, and I'm just kind of leery, and I'm looking around, and then kind of closer to the end. I mean, do you got to imagine, like, there's fire trucks on their side. So I'm like, there's no way these guys would go to this trouble, like for our band. That's just what I was thinking. But sure enough, like I'm just looking around, scouting the area, and then I see this guy kind of with this one of them boom mics way by one of the semi trucks or whatever. And like, as soon as I looked that way, he tried to hide. And I'm like, and then I looked at my cousin. I'm like,
Oh, you knew.
Oh, dude. Yeah, we are being punked. And he's like, no, dude, we're not. He was in on it. And that was just towards the end. But so then I realized, okay, yeah, we're being punked. This is crazy.
That was a funny show, man. I remember watching that. Yeah, MTV treated you guys pretty well with TRL. You got to shout out TRL, bro.
Yeah, man. All these kids are like, TRL, what's that?
TRL was that was the show back in the day, bro, for sure.
Oh, dude, I can honestly say that was probably the love that we've gotten, that we got at that time was probably the kickstart, you know what I mean, to POD success. But not only that, it was, because back then we didn't have social media. It wasn't this internet thing. That was probably the end of days when it was actually about the fan. Because how could a no-name band like POD be on a top 10 if it wasn't for the fan or the person that actually waited whatever hour it was in for that day in their standard time to actually pick up the phone and dial it, right? It wasn't like now, vote on your smartphone, one click of the button. It was like, no, they had to wait.
That's right.
From whatever, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. in your time zone and actually vote and say, my vote is for POD. And that's really was a testament of really the loyalty of the fan base, because at that point, I think MTV and they were saying, who is this band that's like that's on our radar all of a sudden? Like, we don't know who these guys are.
Right.
But it was because the fan. And so that, again, I think those days are kind of long over. I mean, even it's sad because you think the loyalty of your fan base was incredible. Like, to me, that's probably my biggest accomplishment, was just thinking like, dude, there's kids out there, music fans, that are fighting for this unknown San Diego band to be on the biggest platform in the world. Like that, how crazy is that? But now it's past that idea. Now it's just whatever, dude. There's a billion bands out there now.
Do you think it's easier to make it as a band now or 20 years ago? I mean, given Instagram, I kind of see, Instagram and Facebook as the modern day digital bulletin board, right? For your flyer. But there's just so many, right? It's just, there's so many bands out there.
But what is making it? What does that mean nowadays when a kid can jump on Instagram and have 10 billion followers because he can fart like through whatever, so you know what I'm saying? So but corporate looks at that and says, dude, let's give this guy a deal. Only because, not because of his talent, because he's got 10 billion followers. So it's just a business. And again, not to take away from artists and musicians that are doing it now, but I think most people are concentrating on the business and the marketing aspect more than they are their craft or their gifts, you know what I mean? Or their music, or just being a band in general. It's like, dude, that all comes last now. Now I just gotta tattoo my face, I gotta nestle up with these people, or I just do something that's so shock value that people are gonna remember my name, so it's not like, whoa, dude, nobody's vouching for anybody. Like, dude, I vouch for that guy. That guy, you know what I mean? That's legit. Now it's like, I don't vouch for nothing, dude, because nobody's legit anymore. And then it's sad to say, and then I just sound like the old guy again. But
get off my lawn, bro. No.
Yeah, it
does suck. And you said sad, and I think in a lot of ways it is kind of sad. I mean, I think there's some talent out there. I think you'd agree, in the top.
Oh yeah,
top 10, but it's different. It is different.
Yeah,
and we are kind of sounding like the older guys. You were interested in starting a label of your own, right? In 2010, Dead World Records.
Yeah, I wanted to so bad, but that was kind of the turning point when I started to see this shift, and even with the labels and stuff, and even like with the new trends, and it was like there is no real do-it-yourself like label anymore. You know what I mean? Like, and like I said, I'm not, bro. I'm so sick of looking at my phone, and I do it because I have to a certain degree, but I'm like, dude, I'm just not built for it. You know, like, dude, if it's my kids and they're like, that's their hustle, and I get it, you're hustling, you're doing it, but even now, like, with us and even like with new management and new ways, and I'm talking in these meetings, and it's just like, look, dude, we need those 24-year-olds that are going to give us like, or tell us how to do it, because I'm not trying to do it. I don't want to be on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like when you have major labels talking to you about TikTok, bro, you're like, what, bro? First of all, I'm not going to be on TikTok. Okay. I'm over it, but I'm willing to listen to the ideas at least. But dude, at some point it's like, man, all we know how to do is be a band. Why can't we just make music? You guys put it out, but everything is different. And so that's, again, one of the frustrating aspects of it, where you're like, dude, how much more can I do this? I see Instagram. First of all, Instagram, I thought, okay, at least I'm on Instagram. That's cool. I never got into all the other stuff.
Yeah.
But now I see my colleagues, my friends, all these other hustling musicians, and they're freaking doing skits on TikTok. And I'm like, dude, first of all, I don't even know what TikTok is.
Those sellouts, bro.
But I get it.
I haven't gotten into TikTok either. I really haven't.
I don't even know what it is. But when I see like musicians that I actually love, and I'm like, man, that's my boy. Like, I love this guy. This guy's a shredder. He's a killer.
Right.
And now you have him like doing routines with his daughter on TikTok. Like, what happened to rock and roll?
Yeah. No, I feel you, brother. Yeah,
Crazy.
Old school mentality, I guess, kind of, right?
Yeah, dude. But dude, come on. Like, again, there's such a circus of stuff. Like, we look at the Slayers and the Slipknots and all that stuff. We're like, dude, these guys are so metal. They're so hard. Like, you know how many times I've walked into a boutique with a Slayer shirt? Like,
right.
They know their shirt's here. Trust me.
Right.
So they could be on stage and be as metal and as diehard for whatever. Bro, you are in the boutique business now. So you're not fooling me, but good for you, because you fooled a lot of people. And now you have Beverly Hills folks buying a Slayer shirt or Slipknot shirt, an $800 Slipknot shirt at a freaking boutique on Beverly Hills. Okay, good for you, man. Hey, man, maybe I shouldn't be so bitter and I should just jump in the business game. But, right. Again, checks and balances, bro.
Yes, yeah. I think when Slayer starts doing skits on TikTok, that's when we call it quits, right, bro?
That's when it's over. Then we've been lied to this whole time. It's all a sham. I quit.
I think there's a small part of selling your soul, I think, which you made reference to, right?
Of course, bro. It really does exist.
Yeah. Well, that Dead World Records, more power to you, brother. I'd like to see that.
Thanks, man. We'll see, dude. Like I said, I tried, and then that's when I first met Scott and those guys, and there was these local bands where it was like, dude, these guys are awesome. I think it was more for my heart that was like, dude, there's so many good bands, and like nobody's seeing them. You know what I mean? Like there's even now, like there's so much garbage out there, and you're like you said, we have to weed through it just to find the good stuff. And so I guess my intentions were good, and then once you realize that, dude, this is such a fight against the machine, it's like, oh, dude, this will consume me, bro. If I, so whatever. I try to help whenever I can, and the little battles that mean something. You
got to have some respect for guys like Fat Mike, right?
Oh yeah, dude.
I mean, dudes that are doing it on their own.
Oh yeah, bro. And they have been doing it, and luckily, like I said, there's still a niche for those guys that got right in there at the right time to be able to do it and kind of stay who they are and really keep that punk rock, do it yourself kind of mentality. But even in that, I mean, if you were actually probably be able to sit down with Fat Mike and talk about all his regrets or bitterness towards this and that, or the compromises that I'm sure he's had to make, is like, you look back and you're like, oh, dude, I said I was never going to do that. And then you find yourself doing it and you're like, oh, okay. Yeah. All right, let's not do this again.
The Whosoevers. Why don't you talk about that, man?
Actually, it just started, bro. It's like, obviously, I mean, it's no secret I'm a man of faith, and it's always been a part of, who I am in this band and this music. And
Right.
there was just a time, again, through going all the craziness and the nonsense we were talking about, where, and you know, you said it, bro, you talking about selling your soul, where you just really feel like, dude, I feel like I've, you know, again, it was all a learning experience, but you feel like, dude, how much of me has been consumed by just, yeah, dude, this industry, you know what I mean? And so it just was more of a soul searching of like, hey, dude, I just want to be grounded in the things that I believe. And, but at the same time, I understand the hypocrisy, even in my own faith. And then there's different people all around the world. My experience is on a different scale. And so now I'm questioning a lot of things, a lot of different views, you know, a lot of stuff, bro. So it really just came down to being with people that were like-minded. You know, I can't relate to this pastor over here or this crook evangelist on this TV station. I'm like, that's not me. Although I do have core foundations, but that's not me. You know what I mean? And all my friends are rock stars and, you know, all these guys, and it's like, they know who I am. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just, it's a balance of all those things. And then a lot of the guys that were my friends that were, you know, coming to their faith, and they were just like, dude, I'm just trying to stay sober, or I'm just trying not to lose my life again. You know what I mean? Or I'm trying to find a reason to live. And so it really was just more teaming up with like-minded guys like that to say, hey, dude, I love God, man. I'm the biggest sinner of them all. I'm just trying to make my way, you know what I mean, and not fall off. And it was more of just an accountability thing. And then, you know, with certain guys that just wanted to be, it was more, like I said, more like a brotherhood. But then we started to get the opportunity to share our stories, you know, with young people, and it kind of moved that way. And then, you know, once I jumped back into the music game again, a lot of us that did, it still continues to move on with a good friend, my brother Ryan, who he gets to go in these schools and kind of tell his crazy stories and give away skateboards and pizzas and, you know, fun stuff, and just say, hey, dude, there's a different way.
Very cool. And you can follow that if you're interested on Instagram at the Whosoevers, correct?
Yeah.
And then, do you have a website as well?
TheWhosoevers.com, yeah.
Awesome. If you could tour with any band, alive or dead, that you haven't already, you've done some amazing tours, obviously, but who's a band that you'd pick, man?
I mean, obviously, I'd have to go with some of my favorites, and that would obviously have to be from Bob Marley to the Police.
There you go.
To maybe U2, yeah, and Carlos Santana. More the guys that, you know, really kind of had you know, there was just something there.
Right.
That was like, I like these guys.
That's some diversity too, those bands you listed. That I think that reflects P.O.D's sound a bit, you know?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, throw the Bad Brains on there and it's a wrap.
Yeah, for sure. If you won the lottery tomorrow, bro, what's the first thing you buy?
I'd probably just pay off all my bills and debt, and then whatever, dude, take care of the family. I'm not a flashy person, never have, never been. I just want security for my family, you know, not to sound like whatever, I just won Miss America. But dude, I know my heart and the heart of my family, and bro, I would just help people on it. I mean, I help as what I can now on my scale, but there's so much need, you know, out there, and I don't need a car. You know, I don't need another car. I don't need a bigger house. You know what I mean? There's a lot more need out in this world, and you know, and that's why I even started up my own foundation and was trying to get that up and going. And I think a lot of it would just probably go into my foundation that would be able to help a lot of the inner city kids here, just give them a chance to succeed.
Right on, brother. Have you played Saturday Night Live?
We actually played it, and I think it was was the mayor at that time,
Giuliani,
because it was right after 9/11.
Right.
We actually played, and he was the only guest, and we got to do a live in Youth of the Nation.
Wow, I didn't know that. I'm glad I asked. I was actually going to ask.
Yeah, look it up, dude. That was like, we were just like, what are we doing here, dude?
Incredible. You know, from researching you guys a little bit more, I saw that Satellite was released on 9/11, right?
Yep, 9/11. At the time, Alive was already on radio, and I think we played Battery Park for TRL like 2-3 days beforehand. So I remember driving to the airport, and then, you know, our friends from New York, like, dude, there's the Twin Towers, and we're like, wow, this was crazy. And then we were home, and all this happened, and we were like, what the heck just happened, dude?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, to us, it didn't matter that we had a record coming out. It was like, what the heck's going on with our world? But I think really, again, it was a limelight to what was going on in the world, and even a flashlight to people that were like, dude, okay, what's important? You know what I mean? Like, do I need to listen to another Slipknot record? Like, that was just the truth. And I'm not saying nothing, but, you know, it's just, or another Slayer record. Like, nobody wanted that at the time. They wanted some substance or something of like hope. And here we are, this up and coming band, you know, that had some success, but we have a song on the radio that's called Alive.
Right.
So that was more like, people were like, dude, I need something like that. And I think we were probably a handful of bands at the time that even the world cared to listen to at that time. And so it really did give us a platform. And, you know, it made me proud that we were one of those bands. You know, it was like, you know, they weren't asking, you know, this hip hop group that sings about, you know, X, Y, and Z, or this rock band that sings about X, Y, and Z. They were asking P.O.D, like, dude, what do you think's going on in our world? What's going on? And here we were like, dude, I just want to love people, dude, and make some music.
Yeah, so crazy, man. That's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, such a positive message for that time, and destined to release, you know, at that time.
For sure.
Yeah, crazy. Moving on here, a couple more questions for you, brother. If you could bring a musician back from the dead for one final concert.
I would definitely like to see Jimi Hendrix live. That'd be sick.
Hendrix at the Casbah? Or
dude, how rad would that be? Yeah.
Anywhere, that'd be cool.
Anywhere. He'd have to play like every night of the year.
Yeah, man. Last question, brother. 5-year goal for P.O.D. You know, crazy times right now. I think you just want to get back up on that stage. Do you have any long-term goals for the band? You know, anything you haven't already achieved in your successful career?
No, man. I think we've always looked at it like, wow, we made it another year. We made another tour, you know, because I think it's just more of that grateful mentality. Like, dude, we never thought we were just that band. We never thought we never thought we'd leave San Diego. Right. So here we are, you know, we could be in the middle of nowhere, and one of us is frustrated or bummed. We'll look at each other and be like, dude, how cool is it though that we're playing a packed out show tonight? Like, yeah, right. That's pretty cool.
Right. Yeah.
So keep the perspective. So again, 5 years, bro. If I do know one thing, I knew we'll all still be brothers. You know what I mean? We'll all still love each other, and it'll be what it is, whether we're touring or whether we're just raising our families.
Right on, brother. Hopefully shows get back started sooner than later, man. I'm going to a drive-in show this Sunday, Petco Park. I'm sure you've heard about that, right?
The B-side one and a bunch of other bands?
There's a bunch of bands, yeah. Switchfoot's headlining. Hyrie is playing. Yeah, we're going. I'm bringing my 7-year-old and my wife. And we're going to pack in the car, dude. What are your thoughts on that? Drive-through concerts.
Bro, I think we're going to have to stop on through, man. Everybody's been hitting me up about certain things, and even guys that want to do even like the whiskey, and there's people that are doing indoor concerts and they're filming it like it, you know, a live show. But for us, I'm like, I think we're just trying to get our stuff together, and I think we're just staying positive that, dude, stuff's going to change. Like, you know, you hear people like, dude, let's invest in drive-in concerts. Like, really? What if everything changes up tomorrow? I mean, that's nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, I mean, it's cool now, and it's amazing now. But is it going to be the next new thing? No, I don't think so. Once people get going, it's like, dude, I want to go to the Casbah and see a show.
Right, man. Yeah.
Once you can touch people again, you know, we'll be back to it.
This industry doesn't do too well without human interaction, right?
You know, not our industry.
You know, you need to get in that pit. We need to get back in that pit. So
that's right.
Dude, Sonny, congrats on such a, you know, from my perspective, an amazing, successful career, man. And
hey, thanks, brother.
Thanks for being such a humble guy and taking your time to come on this podcast. You certainly didn't have to, but I appreciate your time.
Oh, my pleasure, bro. Yeah, thank you so much.
And again, check out his collaboration with Locals Nights Like Thieves.
Yeah.
Sonny, thanks for your time, dude.
Hey, thanks a lot, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Take care, brother. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. Palapalooza, Palapalooza. We're talking to you. I'm Palapalooza.